go. You are.
All right.
Okay.
They're on.
You ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I am.
Good morning. This is Friday, November 2nd. This is the Town of Tuftonboro Board of Selectmen work session. First item of business is to set the tax rate for the coming year. Diane, you want to begin?
Well, the tax rate comes at $9.56 if you do nothing. The Lower Beach Pond did not have a rate for 2020 because they decided to appropriate money from their unreserved fund balance. They're using $3,700 from their unreserved fund balance, which means they're not going to appropriate any taxes. So that's why they don't have a tax rate for 2020.
Okay.
Other than that, there's the rate went down
Yeah.
Yep.
and the
Went down
values
nicely.
have gone up.
I'm sorry, what went up?
The values, the assessing values.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I had a chance to look at this on Friday.
I did too.
I did too.
I did some math, and it would seem reasonable to me that we put at least $275,000 against the municipal tax rate. That would bring us down to $299, the total rate of $933. It would bring our undesignated fund balance down to $855. 229, which is 6.7%, which is plenty. I think I looked at the current rate of travel and expenses, and it looks as though we're going to have at least another $100,000 to put into the fund at the end of the year. We're on track to have $377,000 left, but that December always cleans a lot of stuff up.
Right.
Yep.
That's what I gotta say.
Well, I have a little different
Okay.
perspective on that. As Diane mentioned, last year's tax rate was $10.11. If we don't take any money out of fund balance, we're at $9.56, which is a about 40-some cent reduction in the tax rate. And if you go back to the back page of the form, last year our fund balance, retained fund balance, was 6.5%. This year, if we do nothing, it's 8.87%, just under 9%. The DRA recommended retention, maximum 17%, minimum 5%. I think is reasonable as a target to shoot for the middle of the range, which retaining that money in fund balance gets us a little bit closer to. If you split 5 and 17, that's 11%, which is the mid-range. We're still under that. And given the other changes that have brought our required tax effort down, I think we do well to go forward at a tax rate of 9.56 and not pull any money out of fund balance to buy that down.
Also, I have a hybrid opinion, and it involves the fund balance. I agree with what you said. I like your idea of using the fund balance, but I'm saying we badly need a police station. It's beyond needed. The new PD is about $1.7 million. With the grants and the capital reserve, we have it down to around $1,026,000. So there's a balance approximately of $674,000. I'd have no problem taking $300,000 out of the fund balance, applying to the police station, and then putting the remainder on a warrant to do like we did with the library. I like your idea, Chip, that we fund things and save interest. The other thing is, this is a dire safety issue, and we need to get her done. Thank you.
It's not just saving interest, it's eliminating debt. And that's
Yes.
really my motivation.
Yes, and
Long-term debt just drives your CIP.
you know, you were the leader, you guys were the leaders to do that with the library. Guess what? It came back at $300,000 turned back in. So the system works.
Now, we have another, I guess I'm gonna be here for another 2 years, so we can negotiate. We've got another grant that we're been informed about that starts in April, I think, the application process.
Yes.
March. So we won't know until after town meeting whether or not that grant money is available. So I'm willing to bend my own personal rules of having lots of money in the bank for whatever reason and go along with you two guys, provided that if that grant does come in, let's say we get $500,000 in grant money.
Yes.
That next year we apply. I mean, I'm not a real fan of DRA telling us what we need to have in the bank. And they're using 10% of our valuation as their basis, not 10% of our expenses. I mean, at the current rate, we've got well over 10% of our expenses in the bank. So I think that's being a little rich. And they base those percentages not on Tufton Road with Gold Coast down here and our low population and high valuation. They base it on a statewide
Right.
Yes.
circumstances. So
Right.
I think we're a little different. So I'll go along with the majority and move that we accept the tax rate as calculated at $3.22 with a total tax of $9.56.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Let's let Bill consider
Yep.
what he's thinking.
No, not good.
Okay.
You're all ready to vote?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Nice job.
So I didn't even get to see.
So
it.
whoever writes the
I can show you this.
Tupperware Times article ought to bring that up. Because
Yeah.
one of the things that we promised at town meeting was the library was gonna push us up, but then we're gonna bring it back down.
Yes,
I think the public needs to be reminded that we've
yes.
done what we said we'd do.
Okay. Next item is budgets. Want to do executive first?
Yeah, the other two have people coming, right?
Executive is 4130.
Do you want me in for this one?
No, but I do want a wage, there we go, thanks.
I figured you would. Just holler when you're ready.
I guess it is public, isn't it?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's public, you can stay. It's public.
Do you want me to?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
They just don't say anything.
No.
You're gonna have to say something, because I don't know. Okay, administrative assistant, am I right?
No, I'm the secretary.
You're the secretary. Who's the assistant? Diane?
Diane.
And what are you currently making?
2514. And I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Just, so you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see 2514 on
It was at 9.
here. Oh, 9.
I guess you guys changed the grade because it was getting to the end.
Mine only goes to 2433.
Oh, so, I don't know. I have to ask her what I was, to be honest with you.
It says grade, she's 14.
Yeah, 'cause-
I'm 14.
Well, you're
I think
not
I
gonna
was
see it in here
step five.
because this is adjusted.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's adjusted with the 1.3.
Yeah, this is the 2021
So
schedule.
you're 7, and your remaining is a 7?
No, no.
No,
Yeah.
you're 6.
I was a 5 when I was hired, I think, 14.5.
Okay.
I just know that much. I think I was 14.5.
So her increase is cost of living plus merit increase, one step.
Well, she hasn't been here a year, so I don't know about this stuff. But whatever. We're at 2547, however much that works out to be. And I don't know how much are we paying Diane? Yeah, Diane.
Well, it currently is less, and this is different than where we were talking about going to.
Right.
So that's probably a conversation for another venue.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna move that we table this budget. Take a break.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So we can go over it tomorrow, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, save the place, and we maybe have more information, because I'd like to know.
Yeah, there was no
Yes.
backup information. So
Right,
I wouldn't know.
right. So,
We have the fire chief and the library coming in at 10 o'clock, right?
Correct.
Is there anything else you folks want to talk about today? Can I bring up a couple, one thing? I think on cell towers, we're ready to go ahead, but could I make one suggestion? That both the fire chief and the road agent look at the maps to make sure that they're happy with where the new locations are. It does affect their operations. So
yep.
I'm just trying to be courteous here, so.
And I had written a letter to the Sandy Knoll people, and I know that our attorney.
Rick had reviewed it,
he
yeah.
legalized it.
I brought that
Is that right?
all to you. Yes, I wanted you guys to look at that. I brought it along in case we needed to discuss it. I think I put it in, no, I did it for Monday. Here it is. Okay, so he says I attached the red line and clean versions of Chip's document, obviously with my suggestion changes. As always, the selectmen can choose to accept, reject, or modify my suggestions. So here's his red changes, and then in case you accepted it, I made one for you to sign.
Yeah, I had this.
Do you want to see the clean copy instead? With the red lines
Yeah.
throw you off. That's for me in case you guys want to change something.
thing I have is, at some point, you'll add a date.
I can if you want
Okay.
me to.
Do you have any questions?
No,
Is there a motion?
I'll move that we sign the letter.
I'll
to-
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nice job, thank you.
While we're on roads,
Why don't you date it next to your signature, because otherwise I have to do a whole new one,
Right.
Yes.
please.
are we planning on this month or next doing the Farm Pond Road and the Land Road approvals? Because I don't know what the Farm Pond's got
I'm
there.
confused.
I
Stuff done.
I reviewed-
He's not ready to bring it forward, I don't believe.
I reviewed Farm Pond, and they're waiting until a couple of houses are being built before they put the final coat on.
Okay.
And that's my understanding, that's what we agreed to when the lawyer was here.
And,
So the Land Road, we voted to accept it subject to the improvements. Now, the road agent has done some improvements.
he hasn't reported back to us yet.
Right, right. So, at the very least, in my mind, before we go to a town meeting, we need to have an understanding of if there's gonna be additional work that's
Right, he needs to bring that
that's a
forward.
subject to a betterment, then that's gotta be part of the town meeting.
I've had some conversation with him, and he's found some ledge issues and issues with the bridge. And he's been upfront about that, so he'll be reassessing his,
The culvert.
it's a stone bridge.
Okay.
And the one thing our road agent is an expert on stonework, so. Another thing.
Okay, so the next time we see him, we need to plug up his
Yes.
butt to get that done. 'Cause
Yes,
we need to run that by the budget committee as well.
Yes.
Before we,
yes.
Right.
Who's he?
the road agent, I'm sorry.
The other thing is the landfill monitoring contract, are we gonna sign that tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I brought it along in case you decide to do it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why not.
Okay.
we can do it today if you want. while we're
I'm
waiting.
I'm prepared to do
Well,
it.
let's do it now.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way. In case we have armed militia
Yes.
in place.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so you received in your packets before the letter stating that he does have a backup. That was one of the questions. I gave you all the recommendations. What do you need from me right now?
So if you have the summary or the names or whatever, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, we were down
You
to,
did give us all that stuff. I don't carry it all around,
Right.
so.
I can run out. Oh, they're actually right here, your whole packet.
Okay.
I knew I had it in front of me. Whoever wants
I've read everything.
And do you need to look at, I have Lawrence Gill's recommendation from the, and I got Clay's here. Do you need to see any of those again?
I've reviewed both of those.
Okay. These can go with that if you want. Those are your recommendations.
Yeah.
On track now.
So there were 16 proposals, and ranging from a low of 23,748 to to a high of 87,500, unless my eyes deceive me. And the review that was done by Clay and the Conservation Commission focused on, I think it was
They focused on
the lowest group,
Mhm.
right?
There's
So-
2, I think.
Yep. So Hydrogeotech Chemical Solutions was the low bidder at $23,748. And the next lowest bidder was Stonehill Environmental at $28,435, followed by Stantec, our current contractor, at $28,500. And we had some concerns about Hydrogeotechnical because it's a single-man firm. We received correspondence back from him talking about how he covers for himself when he, through agreements with other individuals, when he might not be able to do the work. I know you checked with all of the towns that currently use him for work,
And I got 5 responses out of the 7.
okay? And they were all positive about the result, right? I'm gonna move that we award the contract to Hydrogeotechnical Solutions. In the total amount for the 3-year contract of $23,748.
Is there a second? For purposes of discussion, I will second.
Okay?
I guess my concern is that it's a 3-year contract. So we're jumping into a new operator with just himself and some people that back him up. But we're making a 3-year commitment to that system, so I'm gonna have to vote no.
I personally am going to vote for Stantec, so I will vote no.
Well, okay. That's, but I understand.
If it were a
Which is-
1-year bill, I think I'd agree with you.
Well-
But I just don't wanna try them on for 3 years and not have it work.
So,
That's-
and see, I look at it a little differently, which is that,
That's why we have.
right, I'm satisfied that he's a competent bid.
Yeah.
And if things don't work out, you fire him and you go a different direction. I don't see anything that suggests that it wouldn't. And I know that Clay is very happy with the current provider, and I take that into account in my thought process. But that we have had some problems with him in the past, and have worked through them with the contractor. I wouldn't foresee in a similar situation with a new contractor that if we ran into a road bump, that we wouldn't be able to work it out. And I just, my view, we're turning away a confident bid to embrace the guy we currently have.
No, and I completely understand your position. And I would love to give him a chance, but I just, the 3 years just is a tripping thing for me. I mean, we do a lot in the limited amount of time that we work. And
Yep.
to have another, controversy or stumbling block or something else, I mean, the problem with sole proprietors is that who monitors how much work they try to take on? I mean, I don't know if he's underworked, overworked, or has some sort of formula for how many days it's gonna take to do a competent job on anything, so, but there's nobody else there with him.
Yeah.
So I read the recommendations, and I read the company that talks about it. I'm sure they're called competent. I don't have any reason to question that. It's just the, like I said, the 3 years is troubling me.
I have an issue with 3 years. I broke the tie with my contacts that say that Stan Tech speaks DES, and that broke the tie for me, so I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. No. Motion fails. Do you wish to make a motion, Chip?
Yeah, I think I'd like to move that we hire Sam Tech for the 3-year contract that's being offered at
$28,500.
$28,500.
Yeah.
For purposes of discussion, I'll second it. Any further discussion, guys?
As far as the money goes, we're not talking a big spread here, so I don't think we're breaking the bank. I think it's for another $5,000, $3,000, somewhere in there. So it's not a,
Are we ready to vote?
It's 20% on the contract. Now, it's not total big money,
No.
all right? But it's,
okay.
Are we ready to vote on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion opposed?
nay.
Motion passes 2-1. Healthy discussion, gentlemen, thank you, and it's civil. The chief just came in, so we'll, fire department.
Move that over to my pile.
All right, good.
We don't need an extra one here.
No,
And we're all set with John. Is he gonna, while he's walking in, our computer fellow, is he gonna put a thing in for next year, so we've got,
He's planning on it. I
Okay.
put it in the paper and all that, so.
mhm.
I'm gonna move over here so you have room for chief.
we can make that kind of seamless, but it'd be nice.
Water.
Oh, thank you. You go, chief.
How are you? Great to see you again. Are we all set to begin?
Yep.
Go ahead, sir, the floor is yours.
I guess my question is, what do you have questions on? I don't know how long you've had to look at this, or is it the first time that you've had the opportunity to see the budget today?
I've reviewed it.
So as far as one thing different this year, as far as, I put the steps in place. If that's something that's not supposed to be there, if it's supposed to be just the percentage increase, then I need to know that one way or another. In the past years, as far as the steps, that was for myself and Caleb, we didn't take them. For this year, I put them in place as far as it goes.
So, I guess you've done the salaries, right?
Yes.
So that's all set. Fuel stayed the same. Firefighter allowance went up due to salary increases?
Yes.
Okay.
The one thing, as far as on the officer side of things, as far as the officer's allowance, one increase there was under the lieutenant's side. I sat down and went through what he actually does as far as different things, and he does a tremendous amount of administration as far as with our fire programs and things like that, as far as submitting the reports and all the different stuff to the state. He was probably right around 25 hours a time period. And so I put him under 20 hours a month for that to account for the money. So that raised the lieutenant section, slightly from last year. Okay,
Great.
last year, he was at $10,017.60. It doesn't mean that he gets all of that, but that's the amount of money that is slated for him.
Well, that's
in that.
history documents that, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Right, as far as the different sections. And the same with all of the rest of the call people. Doesn't mean that they get that amount of money that is shown there as far as the documents. It's money that is slated for those particular officers.
Okay. And walk me through the office assistant.
Office assistant, the change in that was that I added 3 more hours per week, and whatever the increase was for that.
Okay, so you need 3 more hours, because it's a $3,500 increase, so I
Yeah.
just want to make sure we're not giving somebody a $3,500 raise.
No, it's 3 more hours a week, and it was the step increase.
I'm sorry, Chief, what was your hours before?
7.
7, and now it's 10?
Yes.
So
Okay.
now 10 hours a week?
Yes.
Okay. And I can walk down through these, or you guys want? Did you want to hit any, because the next one I've got is apparatus
Yeah.
expense.
So apparatus expense, the large change in that particular thing is that our protocols are changing on what medications and things that we can give. And one of those changes is that there's a possibility that we're going to be able to give nitrous for pain control, which we would not need to have a paramedic to be able to give that. It's not something that is 100% right now, but I do need to plan for it for the future in case it does get instituted. They do not provide us with the unit to be able to give the nitrous as far as it goes. This is what it looks like. We have talked to different departments outside of our mutual aid that are giving it. One is Guilford. They actually give nitrous quite a bit, apparently, because they have gun stock there. A lot of broken bones, back injuries, and things like that. It's a tremendous tool to work with as far as to provide pain control and something that's not addictive when it comes down to giving narcotics and stuff like that. The unit itself is $3,750, and the additional cylinders that go with it are 217. We had slated for 3, and the refills. What did I put for refills? The refills are $14, and I slated for 3.
That's page 14.
That's page 14.
So,
That is the change in that particular.
your expectation is that maybe sometime mid-year this will happen, or maybe,
Yeah, my expectation is that we have a new medical control person that's coming in. He is on board with being able to give nitrous as far as the people in the field, but right now he needs to get situated in the next couple of months. So probably towards the beginning of the year, or by March, that we will be doing something with this.
Nitrous is for pain control?
Yes.
And how many medical calls have you had this year so far?
As far as medical wise, I think that we're up to 254.
It's needless to say, there's a few that involve pain, right?
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. If we can keep someone from, having to be treated with narcotics, then great. That's one less person that has the opportunity to be addicted to the narcotics and stuff like that. And the AEMTs would be able to give it versus having to have the paramedic come to do that.
so 37, 39, 41. So $4,100 in 5 years to upgrade that.
So we talk about boat expense.
Yes. Boat expenses. As far as increases, they've gone up to $150 an hour. As far as the expenses that we deal with on a regular basis.
That's the winterization and all of that.
Storage, winterization, as far as everything's affected because of the hourly rate increase as far as it goes. One thing that is not in there, we had chose to do the spring cleaning and the complete wax ourselves. If we had them do the wax, if we had them do the complete wax, it would have been $585.90 versus us doing it at $200 and what was it, $80. And then spring cleaning is $320. Versus us doing it for $200. Basically, we're doing it for the materials and stuff that have to be used.
So the, not to jump around, but
Yeah.
the winterization of the live wells and water system,
Mm-hmm.
that isn't part of the winter storage program?
No, it's not. That's actually stuff that they have to do to the boat as far as going through and, you know, draining all the water out of it and with that particular, because it's a separate part of the whole thing.
And do we have a breakdown on the largest number here, the airboat maintenance?
As far as airboat maintenance,
Yeah.
the airboat maintenance is something that I budget a certain amount a year. If we use it, we use it. If not, then it comes back. In most cases, it is welding and stuff that, you know, depending on how much the airboat is used
Yeah.
and how badly it's abused as far as going out over the ice and stuff like that. The welding is expensive to have done with it, so we have to be prepared for that. Right now, the boat is in fairly decent shape as far as, you know, because obviously we replaced the polymer for the $15,000 through the association. So, and when they did that, they obviously went through the entire boat because they had everything out of it. They had the motor out of it. They had everything out of it to make sure that when they flipped it over to put the polymer on. So they welded anything that they found that had cracks in it. So I'm thinking right now we're in good shape going into the winter.
How old is the boat?
The boat is a 2005.
I know it's on your CIP list.
Yeah. Whether I see that replaced in my time period, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, you've planned, which is approved.
So, let's get back to 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Is it your expectation that we're gonna spend between now and January 1st, $1,643 for winter boat storage and maintenance?
Yes.
Okay, and,
Well, at that point in time, as far as for 2020, it's going to be 1540, unless they, because that's what they had quoted me for that time period, unless that has taken effect, you know, right now.
Mhm.
so that brings you pretty much up to the end of your
Budget.
budget of 2977. So you didn't spend, I mean, of the $1,300 that you spent so far this year, how much of that is
It's
airboat?
apparatus. We're the next line down.
Next line down.
I'm sorry, I'm on apparatus. You spent $1,349.
So do you want to know about apparatus or boat?
I'm sorry, I guess I wanted to know. Never mind.
Which one?
Okay.
Which one are we at? You know?
My eyes were playing tricks on me, and my brain wasn't smart enough to figure it out. So can we go back to apparatus? I guess that would be my next question. And okay, and you answered that. All right, I'm up to speed. Thank you, Chief. I'm not on medication, but I have figured out the problem.
So as far
It
as
has nothing to do with you or Bill or Lloyd or anything.
so, do you still have a question about apparatus?
No, I don't.
Okay, very good.
Sorry.
Yep.
I'd shut up completely, but they elected me to talk.
No,
So I had to say something.
that is well as far as it goes. Boat wise, we try to cut that as close as we can. The only, as I said, the only thing that we don't know specifically is the airboat as far as what that might
Right.
have for cost. Everything else is pretty much right there unless something breaks on the, you know, the main boat.
So last year on boat expense, we were good. I mean, as I look back over history, you know, we're 7, 8, 9, $10,000 a year. Last year, we were at $3,500.
Right.
This year, so far, we've spent 27, and we know we're gonna be at least, you got winter storage on top of that. So,
I have winter storage, I have the tune-ups,
yep,
and I have all the maintenance that goes along with it.
so you're gonna be around 5,000 maybe.
If not a little bit more.
How old is the boat?
The eastern boat is a 2008. We usually keep it in until the ice just starts to form. And then, you know, as it, obviously we winterize the pump that is on it to be able to keep it in the water there. As long as there's boats that are out there, that someone's got the opportunity to go out, then we keep it in as long as we can, because of the possibility of fire. But if it gets start to freeze in, then we'll switch
pull it
over
out.
to the airboat and pull it out, because it's too much of a possibility as far as to damage the boat if you leave it in for too long. Luckily, we've started to get a little bit more water. It was getting pretty hairy as far as the boat that size, as far as to take it into some of the different areas that we were at.
Sorry to go backwards.
No,
Do we have vehicle maintenance?
Yep.
My understanding is that we're gonna buy the SCBA tanks.
That
this
is
year.
correct.
Okay, so you've got $4,500 down here.
Mm-hmm. And that's,
Repair and testing, do we need to do that in new tanks?
that is a question that, you know, we may have repairs as far as, you know, things do break with the different stuff. I don't know how much I'm going to need as far as for any minor repairs if you had new tanks. My only issue is that if the tanks are, if the SCBA packs are voted down at town meeting,
You're gonna need the money.
we're gonna need the money to fix these.
Right.
Matter of fact, we're gonna need $50,000 more to buy new bottles.
But we've got most of the money put away,
Yes.
so I don't see that as failing.
But, so, I mean, we could reduce that if we're sure that those will pass.
What do my brothers think?
I say leave it as it is. The air system, breathing systems you have are used at more than just fires, and how can he and his staff make rescues or be effective?
I guess we'll be able to take a pack out of service probably for whatever amount of months when we get closer to the time period. If we have to make any repairs between January and when the new packs come in, then we would need money to repair them.
Okay, and then the other, I don't know, Lloyd says he wants to keep it, how are you feeling about that, Bill?
I can go either way, quite honestly. I mean, you got two issues. One is you got the period of time before the new ones come in, and what might have to happen at that point. We don't have a history of turning down stuff at town meeting for fire department. At least not in my memory. I haven't been here as long as most of you guys, but and I think the reason that the articles pass is because it's well thought out and presented, and the items that are requested are things that we really need in order to keep the department functioning properly. So,
I mean,
yeah, What specific dollar amount are we talking about here for
The
the?
$4,500.
$4,500.
Okay,
I mean, that number and the next number, which I'll bring up, are the two numbers in this category that I just wanted some clarification.
Mhm.
So the other number, while Bill's
yep,
mulling it over, is we've been questioned about the hose testing. So you got another $5,244 for hose testing.
Mhm.
I thought we got all our hoses tested last
It gets
year.
tested every year, sir.
Every year.
Every year.
Every year.
Yep. How do you know it's going to fail if you don't test it every year?
I don't know.
And that, the gentleman that brought up that question,
I'm not
the
deferring-
information was sent out for the answers to that question.
No, I'm not going to defer to his question because
Yep.
I feel like independent audits are absolutely vital.
Yep.
So that portion I think is unfounded.
Oh, it's-
But I just didn't realize we had to do it every year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that and ladder testing, anything that, with our apparatus is serviced every year.
Yeah.
They go through, they test the pumps. The ladder testing happens every year, and it all comes with a price as far as that goes. As far as in the SCBA's, it did come to mind as far as the question with that. Do keep in mind that the SCBA repairs and testing also takes care of repairing the cascade system. We had just over $1,200 of repairs that we had to do this year with that. Hopefully nothing further fails with that.
And what is the cascade?
The cascade system is the system that we use to fill the SCBA bottles with the air that we.
And is that going to stay the same with the new bottles?
Yes.
Okay.
It needs it's going to need like I think $800 of upgrades with that particular system, and that is not something that I had added into the budget because I figured that it could just come out of
project.
the maintenance side of things.
All right.
So you could take out a certain amount, but I would leave at least $2,500 in that category.
I think that's fair.
So
So,
do we want to change this to,
so we can take it from 4,500 to 2,500 in that line.
so it'd be 34,924?
Which line are you talking about?
Well, it's the vehicle maintenance line, but the detail that we're talking
SCBA.
about is dropping SCBA repair and flow test from 4,500 to 2,500, taking $2,000 out of that, right? Which takes the vehicle maintenance line down to 34,924. Is that right?
Right.
Yes.
And so we've got vehicle maintenance, and we've got vehicle maintenance.
The second vehicle
Oh,
maintenance is a
cost.
breakdown of what we actually spend a year on
Got it.
things so far.
So your training budget is going down, but you're adding a medical person? Is that gonna work?
As far as training wise, we dropped that. I dropped that a little bit as far as seeing what we had used this year. We couldn't do a lot of training, obviously, because of COVID. So there is. We do have one person that we have to train this year as far as firefighter one, and if he decides to go further with that. This water rescue technician course is left over from this year. Obviously it got canceled. If if we can schedule that for this year, or if that takes place, then that would go away, because we have the money left in the budget currently for that. Otherwise, we try, with our mutual aid, we try to take up a certain amount of training to save on departments, but there's only so much that the mutual aid can pay.
Now, does the mutual aid pay for some of the training?
Yes.
Can you give an example?
For example, mutual aid tries to do a firefighter 1 and a EMT class once a year. If we do not provide that in the area, or one's not provided in the area, we try to pay a percentage of the cost of what the department would have to pay for the firefighter or the EMT, as far as them going through the cost of the training. That doesn't provide them with the cost of their pay to go through it. It pays for the training itself. But what you run into is, if a certain amount of departments have, like 3 or 4 people to go through that, then we have to limit the amount that we can pay out as far as mutual aid wise, to allow people to go through the different trainings. Mutual aid, the different departments pay $6,000 a year. That covers radio maintenance, that covers accountability, it covers training. So in some cases, if you weren't careful, you could get, a department could get the amount of money for training that they actually paid in a year. When I first took over, the departments were limited to about 2 people a year as far as different trainings. And the classes are so much more now, as far as to be able to send people through them. So departments end up spending a lot of money as far as sending people through training, and hopefully you're keeping them, for a time period, and then not moving on or get back, type of thing.
Steve, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the water rescue technicians, you're saying there, you may have a chance of doing that before the end of the year?
We're hoping that we can. If not, then it would have to be moved into next year's.
Okay, uniforms went up a little bit. Does most of your dry hydrant activity happen from now until the end of the year?
Yes. As far as the different stuff that we do with dry hydrants, depending on, we obviously put 1 dry hydrant in this year, as far as stuff that you see, but that came out of, most of that came out of last year's money, as far as it goes. We had paid for that last year. We haven't had the opportunity to get another one. We had looked at a couple different areas to actually do them, but because of the COVID stuff and everything that has been going on, we haven't been able to secure another one as far as it goes. So there could be money left in that dry hydrant section for this year.
But, I mean, if you look historically, and it's been around $3,000.
Yeah.
3,500. And, is that on here? So the quick med claims ambulance billing, where is that?
That is our billing company.
No, I know, but where is it in your budget?
Medical rescue.
Medical rescue building.
Oh, there it is, I'm sorry, okay. And once again, does most of that happen at the end of the year?
It all depends on how many transports. It's less this year because we did less transports than we did last year.
Okay.
If we do, whatever amount of transports, whatever amount that they bill, they get the percentage, and that comes out of that particular line. We haven't historically in the last, whatever year, used the complete $2,000. But it's been well worth having them as far as a company-wise to go after the different claims and to do all of that because they have all of the billing experience for that.
And you'll have, hopefully, I think we're gonna do your budget on the 9th with the budget committee,
Okay.
I think. We're gonna give this budget to them today or tomorrow. So if you could get the revenue numbers on your ambulance for that meeting, that'd be great.
Isn't the budget committee meeting on the 10th,
Is it the 10th? I thought it was the 9th.
which is Tuesday?
Tuesday is the 10th. It is the 10th, yes, not the 9th, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm good. How you guys?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion.
I have something to say.
Sure. You can't make a motion.
Today I'm wearing my Board of Selectmen's hat, not my firefighter's hat, so I have a couple of comments. I see that your budget you submitted is 3.5% over last year. Nice job. I noticed that 7 out of 21 items actually went down. Again, a nice job. I had a couple of questions for you. How many people do you have on the roster?
24.
And how many are full-time someplace else, and what do they do?
We have 3 that are full-time somewhere else. They're firefighter EMTAs. All 3.
And do you have paramedics that work someplace else?
Well, actually, when you say full-time, I guess the 2 new people that as far as paramedics that we just brought on, one is a nurse at Huggins Hospital, and the other works for Frisbee full-time with their ambulance service. So I guess you could say that we have 5 that work full-time in the fire or EMS field with that.
As a selectman, look at it, we now have an experienced EMT, firefighter, paramedic, and we're getting them for pennies on the dollar, which is, someone deserves a pat on the back.
In that particular case, we were very lucky because we didn't have to train them. They were already at paramedic level, and we only have we have one person that we have to train from the beginning, which is not a bad thing. They have no, he has no bad habits, and if he trained, hopefully the way we want to do it.
Yeah.
I see the smile on your face, sir.
So
On weekends, you have a different officer that takes call, right?
yes,
And they only get paid if they actually go out, right?
yes.
So that's-
Unless they, if they spend time in the station on the weekend, doing whether it's maintenance or reports or whatever has to be done, they'll get paid for that. However, they only get paid if they come out. So they spend full weekend in town, not getting paid unless they go out on a call.
The other thing is you have an individual, a former fire chief, and he's part of Group 2, and the number of hours he can work has been waived, right?
For right now.
Yes.
But if anything changes with COVID, then he would go back to the minimum hours that they can work.
The last thing is, and I'll just mention it, the last 2 years, The chief and the Captain Caleb Pike did not take their merit increases. That's 2% times 2, which is 4%. That's over the last 2 years. What's interesting is, by my calculations, that works out to $5,227.89 that we're saving this year and every year that they remain on the department. And I want to say thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
What's that?
All set.
Okay,
Is there a motion?
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the fire department budget with a total amount of $486,079, which is a 3.24% increase over last year. Wood was struggling with his math this morning. And that is budget 4220.
It was 486.
Sorry. 486,079.
159.
Is it 179?
486, 159, we took $2,000 out.
159, I'm sorry.
Do
Are
you
you
want to?
gonna make a, are you
159.
gonna make a motion to take that money out? Or don't you have?
No, we approved the whole budget,
Okay, great.
and we have to explain what we did.
The motion has been made. Is there a
Second.
second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nice job, sir.
Thank you. I do have a question about overall budgets, because I've never been in a situation like this before. When it comes to general government buildings, obviously as of the 10th of last month, we were $7,074.54 into the furnaces. Obviously, that money came out of government buildings, and I'm still going to need to, I still have some items that are coming in for government buildings. Will that money, because I'm gonna be over on, I've never been over on the actual government building section, will that come out of the fire department section?
It'll be, the way we have done it, probably will continue to do it, is whatever it was spent on, that line's gonna get hit.
Yeah.
So that line is gonna be over budget.
Correct.
The general government buildings, we've still got $48,000 to spend if we want to.
But I do not have $48,000.
No, you don't need to do that.
Okay, I just wanted to
So
make
if the
sure.
expense, so when we get to government buildings, which we haven't gotten to, that expense hopefully will be reflected. It's not gonna be an ongoing expense, so we're not gonna have to
Right.
increase your line for 2021 by $4,000 or whatever the number is.
Well,
It's just
money.
this year, well, if, you should probably get a clear idea of whether or not this is gonna be an ongoing problem, but one would hope that it's a one-time occurrence and then we just go over on that line,
Right.
but the whole budget's not over.
Correct, okay. I just wasn't quite sure where the, the money actually came from in the long run. I've never overdone actual government building.
Well, don't make a habit of it.
Well, you've handled it absolutely correctly under RSA 4142. If you're, after town meeting, these budgets are accounting statements.
Right.
That's the second purpose of them. And when you're gonna go over on something like this, you come to the selectmen, and it's the selectmen's decision to, exactly what he said, put it in an appropriate place, and then we go find the money by
Right.
working with you. So you've done it both under the letter and the spirit of the law.
I mean, if you look at the rate of travel on the general government buildings, we should end up with a $24,000 surplus at the end of the year. We won't because of things like the fire chiefs just described,
Yep.
but we haven't gotten to the point where that whole budget is gonna be underwater and we gotta go somewhere else to find
Right.
some money.
Correct.
But in the long run, it could come from, if you were looking for money to take from wherever, so say that I have money left in my officer's side or whatever at the end of the year, then it would come from the fire department side instead of taking it from
So the
someone
way it
else's?
actually works is, our operating budget for the year is a little over $4.1 million, okay? So all of the money that we expend can't go over that.
Right.
Except for special articles and that sort of thing.
Right.
So as we spend money, it's important that that we identify where it's being spent. And if something that you've budgeted for, we're gonna be over on, like this with the building, it's important that we know about that, because that 10,000, whatever it is, we have to, it has to all be within that total amount that's approved by town meeting.
Right.
Uh,
Which I understand that.
But we wouldn't, okay, back to the question.
So
you just
we're
asked.
not gonna dun you someplace else necessarily.
Because that
for it.
just skews the numbers.
Right.
So we wouldn't know next year at this time when we're sitting here and we're looking at the budget that you had for the year. We'd be working under this assumption that there was a $4,000 cost of bringing the fire department.
Right.
There isn't.
Right.
It's a $4,000 cost for the government building.
Correct.
So we need to keep those things separate so that we know going forward
Yep.
how to budget.
No, I just wanted to make sure it's not coming out of someone else's, budget.
By
in the long
definition,
run.
it comes out of some budget, because the $4.1 million that was approved at town meeting included all these items that
Oh,
were
correct.
added up, okay?
Correct.
So if we're spending $10,000 more someplace than we anticipated, then we have to spend $10,000 less someplace else.
Correct.
In order not to go over the top.
But if I had the
but that's our
$10,000
responsibility.
in my budget, then it would cover.
Well, right, and so as long as there's that $10,000 someplace in the total.
It just, yeah. But you can't go at it thinking, well, I'll just add 10,000 to my
No,
budget.
no. I'm not
Because-
looking at that. What I'm looking at is that, I guess what I'm saying is, in the long run, I have a certain amount of things that we were going to do with the different line items and things like that.
Right.
Do you need to freeze something in the fire department side to cover
No,
on the government building side?
That's why we have a contingency warrant article.
right.
So-
I mean, the only a good example is the highway department that went over budget 4 or 5 years in a row. And we did have to go to other budgets to find the money to make that happen, outside of the general highway budget. But that's a discussion we make, and
Yes.
how we try to stay within the 4.5.
Just like you can move the lines legally in your own budget, we can move the bottom line.
Right.
We're flexible. But here again with you, it's straightforward communication, so we're not in a lurch.
Yeah, and we haven't tried to squeeze the budget so hard that there's never any extra capital around at the end of the year.
Yes.
Right.
And that's how you accumulate the undesignated fund balance, so.
Do you have anything further with?
I have one thing. We're closing in on it has nothing to do with budgets. We're closing in on the Verizon tower,
Okay.
and I think it's appropriate that both the road agent and the fire chief look at the map and make sure
Yeah, they should sign off on
that they sign off on it.
The location they've identified works.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've moved, in your particular circumstance, they've moved all of their access onto the Gould Road.
Okay.
Gould driveway.
I haven't seen anything further. There was someone there that was doing a environmental test.
Yeah.
Two people there the other day looking at
They were
the
gonna do
property.
a drone thing, I don't know if they did that.
They may have at the same time.
And there's a couple of interesting clauses there that I think can accommodate the town equipment. Actually, it's been in my opinion, it's been a very positive situation.
Really?
Are we still, we're still looking at the gentleman, as far as computer-wise?
Yeah.
John,
John?
yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
John Rich?
He's on board.
Have
Okay.
you contacted him?
work you need done.
Chris had contacted him, because we were supposed to do a server this year, and that,
Didn't happen.
we don't have it yet, as far as it goes.
Is it in your budget for this
Yes.
year? Oh, then you should get ahold of John.
Oh, we have.
Okay.
So we just wanted to make sure that the money that we had budgeted for the server was, gonna cover with someone else as far as it goes.
Yep.
Because we went to go through our other computer person, and obviously he said you may want to contact who you're using now. So.
Right, right. Okay, good.
I just wanted to make sure we were doing things right as far as with him.
Well, sir.
Yep.
Thank you again and be
Thank you.
safe. Anything else we can do for you?
I will have the other budgets to you shortly as far as government buildings, emergency management, and ambulance. I'm just waiting for a couple quotes as far as building wise. Right now, the furnaces seem to be working okay. This company seems to have done okay. I did they are doing a price as far as replacement wise for those particular units in case something drastically goes wrong. We do need to change 2013. It'll be
So it's 7 years.
7 years old, which is totally unbelievable to me because the furnace system at Melvin Village is, wow, we're going about 30 years, I think.
But this unit, the units they put in at Central Station were
We've-
latest and greatest technology.
Yes, yes, they were.
And often what happens with the leading edge on the technology is
Oops.
the reliability.
In the long
So
run.
Is-
if you get
is-
to have a number, we may want to think about just
Right.
cutting the cord.
Yeah.
Well, my question is that with that, if we end up putting $7,000 a year into repairing them
Mhm.
constantly as far as it goes, in the long run, is it
Yeah, it's cheaper
better to go with
replace.
new units?
Yes.
We do need to, there's been some changes as far as codes and things like that for the ventilation of the furnaces. And obviously, they were covered at that point in time when we put them in because whatever they put in was fine. But we are noticing some deterioration on the vents on the particular units for as far as the PVC. You can see the discoloration with that, and that's why the code changed for that. And the other is that there's a question of whether or not when the units are venting, whether or not that one is sucking in bad exhaust from the other because they're right there. Obviously, they vent in the same type of pipe, the way that it's set up, and that is a question. I mean, that could affect the furnaces in the long run.
Right.
So if they don't get replaced, the venting needs to be upgraded and changed, and they're supposed to have a price to me today for that.
And who's doing the
for
work
future.
now?
It's called ENE. They're actually our control system people also, and they seem to have had the best handle on out of all the companies that we've had, looking at it. The worst part for any of the companies, they're traveling from Manchester and places like that. So if you don't need to have them come up, then you really don't want them to because, like Sam Mechanical, it was almost like $400 for travel
Just to
by the
get
time just to get them here. So repairs go up quickly. Local people, the local companies really don't want to even touch the
Yeah.
different furnaces and stuff like that.
So if you can have ambulance and what's that other one?
Ambulance, emergency management,
Emergency
and government
management.
buildings.
Yeah, ambulance and emergency management to us by next week.
Yep.
That'd be great. So that's another couple of little budgets we can get rid of.
Sure.
So, and just one final thought that I have relative to the heating system and potential replacement. And I think it's good to get pricing from these folks. But if we're anticipating or thinking about replacing them, we ought to look at units that can be serviced by somebody that's local, that we don't have to bring somebody in from Boston or Manchester or,
Yeah.
you know, wherever, that local folks
Right.
are familiar with, then, I mean, it's, you end up with more reasonable service call, expense, and the response. I
Right.
mean, you got an issue and roll a guy out and get it done and not have to
Right.
have it wait.
Or just, I mean, one of the other things is negotiating the service contract, what do we do with our generators?
Right.
You know, so
We
that's
do.
part of the deal.
We do have a maintenance contract, which is 18 for the major PMs. There's 2 major PMs that are done, one in the spring, one in the fall. It's 18. I think it's like $1,840 for each of those. You know, obviously they go through the service, the air units, the air handlers, the furnaces, and all of that different stuff. They replace the belts on the handlers, and whatever they have to do. And don't forget, we also have a unit in the bay that hangs off the ceiling that they go through also. So that is pretty good. I still have that pending for December of the $1,800 and something that will have to come out. So that's one thing that I'm looking at. And they give us a reduction on, the cost when it comes to actually coming, because we're a customer, already as far as it goes, that has a maintenance contract.
Well, you're almost a heating expert with you.
No, not at all.
You've dealt into
I
this.
really want nothing further to know about heating as far as it goes.
Just want it warm.
Yeah, just want it to work. Have hot water, have.
Yes.
You're gonna give me a new one of these for.
Okay, well, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for your time.
Senator,
No, I'm sorry. Sorry, budget.
You want a new one
When we go to
Does
the-
anyone need to?
Yeah, you'll get a new
Right
one.
on, okay.
with the selectmen on
That's
it?
fine.
Yeah.
Dennis, how are you?
Good now.
Thank you for being patient,
Oh,
sir.
that's fine, no problem at all.
You're up.
All right.
Well, be honest.
As always.
Isn't it nice to be in your new building?
It
I've
is,
heard
yes.
I've heard a lot of compliments, so.
Okay, yeah,
We just
still a lot that needs to be done, but we're getting there.
Thank you.
Is there any opening statements you want to make, or do you just want us to dive in and start asking questions?
Yeah, we can dive right in, and again, this is my first time doing that. I mean, I've been in on the budget for numerous years with Christie on stuff, because we work together on it, so, but yeah, I'm fine with diving right in.
So you had an $8,334 reduction in salaries?
Yes.
Is that a reduction in staff or just?
No,
because
it's the
you're
same
new?
number of staff. We had 6 last year. We still have 6.
Okay.
2 full-timers, 4 part-time. That is because we had 2 people that retired. So with Christy leaving and the internal promotions and people moving up, we have 3 people that were moving into positions where they're making less than the person that vacated that position.
Okay.
And in the new building, you have not added staff.
We have not. It's the same number of staff. We hired 2 new people to replace 2 people that left. Not direct replacements, but obviously. So we have the 2 full-time and then 4 part-time, like we had before. So it's the same number.
And everything's new, but you got a $868 increase in maintenance budget, and that is because,
So, well, partly it's because the increase comes from the maintenance contract for the service for the heating, the cooling, and the plumbing system.
okay,
There's 4 annual cleanings for the maintenance contract, and 2 of them that happened this year were covered under the first year warranty for the new system. 2 happened last year, 2 happened this year. So the increase partly reflects the,
And your floor space is more than doubled, right?
yes.
But it's a newer building, so it doesn't, yeah, okay.
Correct. So actually, next year, there will be an additional increase on maintenance to reflect the 2 service.
And the fire department charges you $300 to inspect the fire extinguishers, or do you have somebody else coming?
Somebody else comes in.
Yeah, that's a company that fills them and tests them.
Yeah. Inside cleaning, the person that we have, it's budgeted for 3 hours a week.
So we're not, we're not including outside maintenance? What are we doing about that?
Isn't that in the grounds budget?
That's never been included.
You don't pay for snow plowing
Okay.
and,
Yeah, all the outside maintenance has always been
So
separate.
that's in government buildings.
Yeah.
under number 12, technology, you know that, and I know that you're up on it, but we have an IT person.
Yes. Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
feel free to work with him.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be using the same person that the town uses.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be.
I know you have a background in that, so.
So, yes.
Library outside. Okay. And, yeah, could you just run through the $2,200 decrease in technology?
Last year we budgeted for new computers, and it was like 2 new desktop computers and 2 new laptop computers. We don't do that every year, obviously, so the decrease reflects technology that we won't need to purchase. And last year it went in because we knew that we would need additional computers because of the new library space.
And on the equipment, oh, that's toner. I'm sorry, I thought it said copy machine. I apologize. So everything that you could do out of the 2020 budget, you've done as far as equipment and that sort of thing?
Yeah, there's a few more that, everything. There's additional stuff that we got donations for equipment. Some of it was like donated money because we're doing the, somebody bought us a STEM table and storage containers, so some of the money that was donated is for, all the kits, the building kits for the sim stuff, so.
And your expectation is that you're gonna continue to fundraise anyway, right?
Yes.
And the RSA or whatever.
Yes.
So, Mrs. Markison doesn't work there anymore?
Nope.
You're free to weigh in as
Hmm?
much as you need, right?
Yeah, no, she's hung up her spurs.
Nice.
So,
And we miss her.
and she misses you guys
We
too.
do miss her, yeah. I miss
Yeah.
working with her.
So, anyway, I seems straightforward to me. So, I'll move the library budget 4550 in the amount of $216,747.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? I call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Nice.
Boy, in the last year, what a change.
Yeah. Yes. Cool. Excellent. So that's it?
Do you have anything else for us?
I do not, thank you.
Your explanations are all pretty straightforward, but Kathy will let you know when you're on the budget committee's agenda,
Yeah.
and you'll need to come to that budget.
Oh, right, yes.
It
Uh-huh.
may be the 10th
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
at
Mm.
night. Okay.
Yeah, whenever
I'll
it
let
is,
you
just
know
let
the
me, yeah,
time.
let me know.
You
That's
call,
fine.
he hauls.
Yep, I will. Tell me where to go and I'll be there, so.
Yeah, we have them up at the town hall at 6:30 on Tuesdays, and the next one's the 10th.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I was planning on that anyway.
Great.
So, all right.
Okay, well, thank you.
Great.
Be safe.
Well, thank you as well. Yeah, I
Kathy?
saw that there was an active case in Tufton around that for COVID.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
If you look at the, WMER does the updates for, Tufton Road picked up in 1 to 4, so it's at least one. That was a new thing today, so I have no idea. But
We didn't even.
We'll all explode tomorrow at the election.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Travel safe.
I will, thank you.
Kathy, do you have anything for us?
Well, I don't know, are you guys pretty much done for the day, or do you want to discuss some stuff?
What do you got?
Well, do you need any information or any explanations on the
Yeah.
construction
Yeah.
services interviews? Phil wanted to know if you wanted to add any questions to his questions.
I'm all set.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Yeah, I think it looks
So you did it
reasonable
all
to me.
that we did?
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then, what else? You did the agreement. Okay, so, the confidential file. Verizon Wireless and public right away, you wanna do that tomorrow? Finalize it tomorrow?
I made a comment about the 2 department heads signing off.
Yeah, I'll let them know.
Okay,
But I
And
mean,
as far as the right of way is concerned,
yes.
we've
So-
got that language and I thought we voted on it, but maybe we didn't.
I don't remember, I don't know where you guys are.
We sent it off to council, and they were gonna,
Yeah.
he was gonna incorporate it.
Okay.
You were gonna advertise public
I did,
hearings, and when.
no, I didn't.
You didn't
I
advertise.
didn't
the hearing.
advertise the public
Okay.
hearing, because you guys didn't
Right.
tell me when
So
you
we
wanted
need
to
to,
do it.
So we need to figure out, yeah.
So we need a.
I don't know what you were gonna do with that. I feel like I'm in the air on that.
All right, so he was gonna send back some specific information on, to make sure we had all the
Okay.
things that we needed on doing the hearing to approve the ordinance.
Okay, so I did go back to Eric that I would hear from the other gentleman, Warren, is that his name, Warren? His last name Warren? Is that, am I with the right person, or is that Doug?
I think there was only one guy involved.
Yeah,
Hang on, I got it right here, so.
And should we need to put a bug in Tyler's ear about Lake Street. I think we need to get that number firmed up.
I like your idea. Let's get the simple one out of the way, right?
Yeah, just get one done.
Yeah, right here it is.
If we can afford it.
So he sent me an email the fall of, yeah, Will Warren. You had a conversation with Will Warren and Eric May, remember? This is the email I got from him recently. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I don't know, I'm out of the loop because you had a non-public doing that and I wasn't here, if you remember. It was on a Thursday. You weren't here either, Chip, I don't think. Wasn't that conversation between the,
Yes.
that's what I thought. So that's why I don't know what's going on at this point. It was a lawyer conversation on the
all right,
phone.
so meeting, the hearing needs to be noticed no sooner than 14 days before the hearing.
Right, I just don't know when you're doing a hearing.
Well, it can't be less than 2 weeks after it goes in the newspaper. So if we put it in the
Right.
paper today,
Okay,
okay,
it won't go in today, because, right, it's
No.
last chance is Friday to do for the following week.
so it used to be Monday noon, they could.
Now
get
it's
it.
Friday, 3 o'clock.
Okay,
They
So-
put me on that.
we don't need to deal with that today then.
I know, but I'd like to know what's going on, so I know what I'm.
As soon as we could have it would be the 30th of November. That's the day we need.
We don't meet on that Monday though.
You meet the 2nd,
So the
So
7th,
7th of December.
7th of December.
So, yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
notice a hearing for the 7th of December.
okay.
They work backwards from there.
In the notice, am I explaining what it is?
Sure. Brief description.
December 30th,
And it's pretty much,
December.
it's public utilities right of way, so it's not as if there's gonna be a lot of public input, I don't think.
Right.
Right.
right away.
That who knows?
Mhm.
So you're having a hearing to approve a new policy, is that what we're doing?
Right,
We're-
to add to the,
We're having a hearing on a proposed comprehensive public rights-of-way regulation for the town of Tuftonboro. And we may or may not approve that regulation the same day. This is just notice to everybody so that they know that it's out there. If they want to come
Here.
participate in the conversation, they have the opportunity. We're
But I
not
got
doing,
the impression I'm supposed to get something else from Will Warren in that email,
right,
and I haven't received anything else.
And what about acknowledging the income?
we're not getting any income. Oh, we get income from taxation.
No, the income from rental.
no, this is,
No,
this is not the cell
telephones.
towers.
Okay, that's something else.
This is the,
Yes.
using the right of way, yeah. So, we haven't seen you haven't seen the final,
That's why I
Draft.
haven't done anything, because I haven't seen anything.
But he's
from-
Well,
got until December 7th.
yes,
to get it.
right, so
Oh,
let's get it noticed and on the calendar. It
Okay.
shouldn't take them that long to,
Maybe send him a copy of it.
yeah.
Okay,
Tell him we need
and you want to put December, so I need to, and it, does it have to run for 2 weeks or 1 month?
One, just has to run once, I believe.
once.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I've been doing with all of them, running them
Right.
once.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let her know by Friday, and there'll be for a public hearing the 7th
Yeah.
of December.
Sounds good.
What's this Friday?
No, it's a Monday.
Yeah, so it's, no, I'm saying we're gonna run it, she'll take it to 6, and it won't run until the 13th. Okay,
Right.
so we'll still be good, okay.
Any other legal business to come before the work session?
Was there anything else in your to-do list?
I do have some stuff.
Excuse me.
So, the rest of this can be done tomorrow at the meeting, but, so the wireless tower, where are we with that?
We are letting the chief and the fire chief and
Look
the
at 'em.
road agent look at the locations.
Before you do
And
anything?
then we're ready to go.
Okay,
Yes.
so you might want that tomorrow on your,
It would be
Yes.
nice if we could get it signed.
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
And then, we just did Sandy Knoll, we just did the bids, you're fine with construction, and Zachary hasn't gotten back to me other than, that he found the North Borders Regional Commission has a grant that starts March 20th.
And we need you to get a hold of Tyler Phillips, get a firm number put together for Lake Street.
For the Lake Road
Lake Road
bulkhead.
bulkhead.
I thought I already emailed him and he got back to you guys.
No,
And
that was
what
my
he-
questions.
And what he said is, and he's right, that we were gonna cut our teeth with Union Wharf, get all that figured out. And then the smaller project, which is Lake Road, we do as a follow-on. But Union Wharf is all mired down.
Right.
So
And
the
it's gonna
thought
get
now
worse.
is if we can move forward and get the Lake Road bulkhead done,
Yeah.
which is another piece of what needs to
Simple
happen.
Project,
So
At least-
you
at least-
need cost from this.
Yes, right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I don't know what, I wasn't involved in any of it, so I
No,
was in the
right.
dark. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
Union Wharf's gonna get even weirder, depending on the election.
And I put on the agenda, review budgets for tomorrow, but I didn't put any specifics because we didn't know where we were gonna be.
Mhm.
We're still waiting for people to give it, if she can get some done, we'll do some budgets tomorrow. If not, we won't have any, we'll have at least 3
And
for them.
Jim emailed you his.
Yes, but that doesn't mean
Yep,
she'll have it
she's
in the
ready.
system
Is he gonna
for.
wanna,
Do you
come
wanna,
tomorrow?
I did make, did I put that in for you? If you wanna review Jim's just on your own before he comes in, I can give it to you, but that's up to you.
Yeah, I'll take a copy.
and he can't come in tomorrow, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I don't know, I'll ask him if he can come in.
Yeah,
He didn't say. He emailed it and I hadn't spoken to him. I just got it this morning.
because it's
before the
more
meeting.
efficient if he's here, we can just get it done.
Yep,
Okay, so we'll wait and I'll get him in.
I mean, no, Lloyd wants to look at it anyway, so you
Okay.
you get him a copy.
Yeah. I will do that. Other than that, I'm all set.
Okay,
Okay,
go ahead, Joe.
I just appreciate your work backwards. The regulations for the right-of-way, will that be posted on the website so people can read it
Before the hearing?
before the hearing?
The whole thing?
Well,
Yeah.
just write a brief so we understand what's going on, that's all.
I'm not a legal person to write a brief.
Yeah, no, there's no reason once we get the final
I can
draft, we
scan
can put
it.
that up on the website. Yeah,
Yes, I
it's a
mean-
good idea.
Okay, 2, working my way up. I had a little sticker shock in reference to maintenance on the fireboat. $150 an hour?
Yeah,
I must be in the wrong business.
you are. Should
Okay.
try
And-
plumbing.
Working our way up the ladder in reference to,
Can you give it, with a fireboat, are you talking about the one with the propellers?
no, not the airboat. He just mentioned $150
That's
an
the
hour. I
hour.
didn't know what that was
That's the
for.
shop rate, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the shop rate, that's what it's going for today.
Right.
Okay.
I'll give you an example, sir. Having grew up on the lake, I think that's reasonable, and the reason for it is you're on a rescue,
Boat money.
and they raise one engine to not destroy it, but with 18 inches below normal, you nick the propeller,
No, I
Yeah,
I'm
understand.
talking about the labor rate.
and,
The lake,
and,
right.
and you get it back to the marina, and by 4 o'clock, it's repaired.
Yeah, and I don't argue that, I
What's the
just,
shop rate?
again, I'm just out of sorts. All right, last
I
thing,
knew
What's the
it.
shop rate?
and this is in reference to the landfill monitoring, and you've had 7 or 8 people, and you picked Stantec, okay? And fine, I'm not arguing that, and I do believe in a 1-year contract, I'll find out well. I guess my question as I'm sitting here is, you get proposals from 7 or 8 people, how do you check them out other than reading their proposal? Can you go to the Better Business Bureau or say if there's any complaints or
Well, you
how do
admit,
you?
you try to narrow it down, which is what we did, and obviously the guy that bid $80,000 was way out of line.
Yes.
So you narrow it down on the money thing, and you try to get it down, I think we got it down to 3 or 4, and then you start checking references.
But they're all capable of doing the job
Right,
very
yeah,
well
no,
for
no,
what
they're
we
all-
expect.
They,
These are all.
similar to the Better Business Bureau, they're all recognized by the state of New Hampshire as being legitimate.
Okay. That was my question, thank you very much.
Okay,
I didn't mean to cut you off, I apologize.
well, that didn't work, did it?
Yeah,
Who moves
Is
to
this,
adjourn?
hold on, just 2 seconds. Is this all we got from the highway department? Because this isn't what I'm looking for a budget.
That's what I got
Okay,
emailed to
Diane
me.
must have the rest.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
She-
she's gonna plug it in.
yeah.
All right.
So
Fine.
if
If she's
yeah.
ready, we're ready.
Well,
But
if
that's
she
all
can,
I
if
got.
she can plug it in today, then we can deal with it tomorrow. Yeah.
Right, it's all, that's just what Jim sent
I'll
me.
second
Right.
your motion to withdraw.
But-
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I make that motion.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.